Think math and business skills are all you need to succeed? Think again. If you can't read, none of that matters, and it's quietly holding back an entire community. Watch closely because this changes everything. Dear Juelz Santana, navigating the world of finances is nearly impossible if you can't first grasp the written word. Literacy isn't just a skill, it's the foundation for understanding money, investments, and financial strategy. At its core, literacy allows you to interpret contracts, analyze business opportunities, track expenses, and make informed decisions. Without it, even the simplest financial transactions can become sources of confusion, mistakes, and missed opportunities. Think of literacy as the lens through which every financial choice is magnified. It enables comprehension, evaluation, and foresight. Without that lens, it's like trying to navigate a complicated city with no map or GPS. You might get somewhere, but success becomes far less likely, and the chances of taking costly detours increase dramatically. Recently, Juelz Santana appeared on the No Funniest Show, a podcast hosted on the Revolt Network. While the episode performed reasonably well overall, one particular segment stood out and deserves a closer look. In this segment, the conversation turned to the intersection of education, financial literacy, and entrepreneurship, an area that has long been a point of contention in many communities, particularly in the Black community. It's one thing to talk about financial success in the abstract, but the reality is that financial success is deeply intertwined with the ability to read, comprehend, and process information effectively. When Juelz and the hosts explored these ideas, it became clear that the challenges faced by many young people go far beyond access to capital or exposure to business ideas. They begin with literacy itself. Consider the broader context. Financial literacy isn't simply about memorizing formulas or knowing how to balance a checkbook. It's about understanding risk, evaluating opportunities, reading contracts, and making decisions that compound over time. Someone who struggles to read may misinterpret the terms of a loan, fail to notice critical details in an investment prospectus, or overlook clauses in a business agreement. In a society where financial instruments and economic systems are increasingly complex, literacy functions as a gatekeeper. It determines who can participate meaningfully in wealth creation and who is left on the sidelines. Moreover, literacy shapes cognitive skills that go beyond reading itself. The ability to decode information, interpret meaning, and analyze content is directly linked to strategic thinking, problem-solving, and decision-making. In other words, reading is not just about understanding words. It's about developing the mental muscles required to plan, forecast, and respond to complex situations. A literate individual can recognize patterns in financial markets, calculate long-term outcomes, and anticipate challenges before they arise. This is why literacy is so closely tied to entrepreneurship. Running a business demands constant analysis, negotiation, and planning, all of which rely on strong reading comprehension and critical thinking skills. On the No Funniest Show, Juelz Santana touched on another critical point. While traditional education, like college, is often debated in terms of value, literacy itself remains indispensable. Many argue that college isn't necessary for financial success in today's world, and in some cases, that's true, but the ability to read, write, and comprehend complex information cannot be replaced. Without literacy, even entrepreneurial ventures can struggle. A business owner who cannot read contracts, write proposals, or interpret financial statements is operating with a critical handicap. Literacy equips individuals with the tools to navigate these challenges and, ultimately, to create sustainable value in their communities. This segment was particularly striking because it illustrated a tension that is often overlooked. Society frequently focuses on whether young people are going to college or pursuing traditional careers, but it rarely addresses the foundational skill that underpins all success: literacy. Without it, other skills, including mathematics, strategic thinking, and entrepreneurial aptitude, are limited in their effectiveness. In essence, literacy doesn't just open doors to opportunity, it determines whether those doors can be understood, navigated, and fully leveraged. In conclusion, the discussion on the No Funniest Show underscores a vital truth. Literacy is the cornerstone of financial empowerment. It is the gateway to understanding money, evaluating opportunities, and making informed decisions. For anyone seeking to thrive in business or finance, reading is far more than a classroom exercise. It is an essential life skill that shapes the trajectory of success. Juelz Santana's insight reminds us that before we can build wealth, teach entrepreneurship, or discuss financial strategy, we must first ensure that literacy is not overlooked, undervalued, or taken for granted.
These kids can't read. And how to, but they don't really need to know how to read.
Wait, stop. Stop.
I ain't gonna say that. I say that respectfully. I'm not saying that in a way to be literate, because you're not supposed to be illiterate, but you can.
What's more important, reading or math?
Math.
Told you.
Math. I think you could listen to a book on YouTube. You can still obtain the information. You don't have to know how to.
Juelz Santana recently made a point that caught my attention. He suggested that reading may not be as essential as math, particularly for young people who aspire to start businesses. His argument hinges on the idea that practical skills, like mathematics and entrepreneurship, can open doors to financial independence in ways that formal education sometimes doesn't. In his view, college isn't always the path to success, and mastering math, coupled with entrepreneurial know-how, might be far more valuable than earning a degree. The Black community, he argues, needs more business leaders and innovators, not just employees. I see the reasoning behind this perspective, and in part, he is correct. However, there's a crucial missing piece in this conversation: literacy. Too often, discussions about why Black men should attend college focus on enrollment or degree attainment, without acknowledging that many struggle with reading at a college level. An educator who returned to work at a community college observed this firsthand. She found that numerous Black men entering the college system faced significant reading challenges. Community colleges, by design, provide affordable pathways to education. Students can complete a 2-year program and either transfer to a 4-year school or enter the workforce. But when students struggle to read, even these accessible opportunities collapse. Once they get past developmental courses, these students frequently falter. Grades slip, financial aid is lost, and ultimately many drop out. I've seen this personally, having attended a community college myself before moving on to a 4-year university and eventually medical school. Community colleges are structured to help students build foundational skills in both reading and math, which then support more advanced learning. Yet for students who cannot read at the necessary level, the system fails them. Literacy is the foundation upon which all higher-level thinking rests. Without it, math, decision-making, financial analysis, business planning, and critical thinking all suffer. Take the Achievement Academy in Northeast Baltimore as a stark example. Despite its ambitious name, the school has struggled dramatically. According to MCAP data analyzed by Project Baltimore, not a single student tested proficient in math over the past 4 years. Out of 134 students who took state math exams, 0 achieved proficiency. This highlights a broader issue. Literacy isn't just about reading novels. It underpins the ability to tackle complex problems, including math. Juelz Santana distinguishes between reading and math as separate skills, but the reality is that reading forms the foundation of all advanced cognitive skills. High literacy enables high-level math reasoning, business acumen, and income ability. Low literacy, on the other hand, limits cognitive processing, weakens math abilities, and undermines entrepreneurial potential. Simple everyday math, counting cash, budgeting is one thing, and basic numeracy is important to avoid being taken advantage of. But school-level math, problem-solving, and financial literacy requires strong reading skills. Decoding complex problems, retaining information, and understanding instructions are all critical. Without literacy, the path to genuine financial empowerment is blocked. Here's the crucial point about learning. It's not just about memorizing facts, it's about retaining and processing information. This ability to work with knowledge forms the foundation for logical reasoning, strategic thinking, careful planning, and effective problem-solving. These skills aren't limited to math or college-level study. They're essential tools for navigating life and business. It's important to separate the value of literacy from debates about college or formal education. Many people today dismiss college as unnecessary, especially with rapid changes in the job market and the rise of AI. While it's true that traditional education doesn't guarantee success, literacy remains non-negotiable. For For anyone interested in entrepreneurship or building a business, the ability to read, understand, and interpret information is indispensable. Without it, even the best ideas struggle to take shape. There's a powerful point here. People who struggle with reading often have difficulty seeing things from other people's perspectives. That skill, empathy, perspective-taking, is essential not just in life, but in business. Consider the complaints you hear in the Black community about local businesses. Some say, Black people don't support Black businesses, but the reality is more nuanced. Customers make choices based on experience and service, not identity. If someone feels mistreated, they'll take their money elsewhere, regardless of skin color. One recurring issue is that many Black-owned businesses struggle with customer service, employee training, and financial management. These are all manifestations of cognitive skills developed through literacy and education. Often, individuals with higher literacy and stronger cognitive abilities leave the community to pursue careers as doctors, lawyers, corporate executives, or entrepreneurs in other markets. The businesses that remain frequently lack the same level of critical thinking, problem-solving, and perspective-taking. When business owners cannot see situations from their customers' viewpoints, dissatisfaction goes unnoticed. Reading and literacy, however, cultivate this variability. Engaging with a book, whether it's Shakespeare, anatomy, or physiology, teaches you to interpret perspectives, understand intentions, and process complex information. Translating that skill to business, a literate and cognitively developed owner can anticipate customer needs, respond appropriately, and build loyalty. High literacy also improves networking, mentorship, and collaborative potential. In many Black communities, a lack of literacy limits the ability to recognize leverage, work together effectively, or seek mentorship. Without these skills, cycles of underdevelopment persist. Parents who struggle with literacy may not provide the guidance needed for their children to succeed. Communities lose the capacity to foster competitive businesses or develop frameworks that solve local problems. Beyond business, low literacy impacts executive function, decision-making, self-regulation, and strategic planning, all of which are critical for reducing violence and fostering stability in the community. Essentially, literacy is the cornerstone of opportunity. It drives cognitive development, business acumen, interpersonal understanding, and ultimately, community empowerment. Without it, entrepreneurship, collaboration, and sustainable growth remain out of reach. Struggling with literacy doesn't just limit your ability to read. It constrains problem-solving, abstract thinking, and the capacity to manage multi-step tasks. These cognitive skills are foundational. Without them, failure becomes more likely, and there's no shortcut. Watching YouTube tutorials might help with pronunciation or picking up a few vocabulary words, but it cannot teach sustained focus, working memory, writing, or abstract reasoning. You simply can't build the deep cognitive structures needed for complex thinking through quick online videos alone. Juelz Santana's perspective comes from his own experience. He succeeded in a business, rap, that doesn't demand high literacy. Similarly, gifted athletes, streamers, or YouTubers can excel without formal reading and writing skills. This explains why so many young Black individuals gravitate toward entertainment, sports, or digital content creation. But these paths, while visible and glamorous, don't fill the critical gaps in entrepreneurship or community-based business development. Strong reading and math skills, when combined, open doors to entrepreneurship and the ability to add meaningful value to others' enterprises. Without them, many turn to hustling or acting as intermediaries in informal economies, trying to make money as middlemen without creating sustainable value. When that fails, the cycle often leads to crime, drugs, or other harmful choices. Even though some people may achieve financial success without traditional literacy, the skills gap remains a pressing reality. Isolated success stories, celebrities, athletes, or entertainers often mask a much larger issue. The vast majority of individuals cannot bypass literacy and expect to thrive consistently in business or professional life. Reading, writing, comprehension, and mathematics are far more than academic exercises. They form the backbone of essential life skills, from leadership and effective communication to complex problem-solving and financial intelligence. Without these foundational abilities, even the most talented individuals face limitations that often go unnoticed until it's too late. Leadership, for instance, relies heavily on literacy. A leader must read and synthesize information quickly, understand nuances in communication, and interpret written reports, contracts, and strategic plans. Similarly, communication is not just about speaking. It requires writing clearly, interpreting messages accurately, and understanding context. Decision-making depends on gathering information, analyzing variables, and anticipating potential outcomes, all skills that build directly on literacy and critical thinking. Problem-solving, too, is deeply intertwined with the ability to process complex information and apply reasoning in real-world situations. Mathematics and numeracy provide the quantitative lens needed to assess risks, evaluate opportunities, and manage resources effectively. Collectively, these abilities create a framework for financial intelligence, the capacity to make informed decisions, create sustainable wealth, and build value in both personal and professional contexts. In many Black communities, intellectual disparities amplify systemic challenges. Children and adults who struggle with literacy are less likely to access higher education, secure stable employment, or navigate entrepreneurial opportunities successfully. These disparities are rarely discussed openly, and yet they have tangible consequences. Communities with low literacy levels often experience cycles of underdevelopment. Businesses lack the managerial and cognitive skills necessary to thrive. Community members struggle to accumulate wealth, and younger generations inherit structural disadvantages that compound over time. When literacy and critical thinking are absent, even well-intentioned initiatives like entrepreneurship programs, vocational training, or financial education workshops cannot reach their full potential. The long-term implications are profound. Literacy equips individuals not only to understand existing systems, but also to create new frameworks that solve problems within their communities. Entrepreneurs who can read and write effectively are able to draft contracts, communicate with partners, analyze market trends, and scale businesses responsibly. Professionals who excel in critical thinking and numeracy can innovate, lead teams, and contribute to high-level decision-making. Community leaders who are literate and strategically minded can advocate for policy changes, implement social programs, and mentor the next generation. In short, literacy and cognitive development are catalysts for generational progress, empowering individuals to break cycles of limitation and foster sustainable growth. Without these skills, however, success remains narrower, more fragile, and less sustainable. Achievements may occur, but they often rely on luck, charisma, or isolated talent rather than replicable systems of knowledge and skill. Economic opportunities are harder to seize, mistakes are more costly, and the ability to influence change diminishes. In this context, literacy and critical thinking are not merely optional, they are essential. They create the structural foundation upon which meaningful, enduring success is built, whether as an entrepreneur, a professional, or a community leader. When literacy and cognitive skills are prioritized, individuals gain the tools to navigate complexity, add value, and leave lasting legacies. Without them, even the most ambitious efforts are at risk of being incomplete, unsustainable, or fleeting.